Danse Nawagumagantik. Sikunachak Sigasun. And this is Spring Spirit Podcast coming to you all the way from the Ahtahkakoop Cree Nation, nestled just north of Prince Albert in the Treaty 6 territory. And today we have Cindy Tootoosis. How are you, Cindy?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Sequin. So nice to be here.
So, Cindy, I have you on the show today to speak about something that you just completed over the weekend, and it was an inspiration to us all. So, um, it was an honor walk, an honor run. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Um, so back when I started running, uh, my inspiration came from Shannon Lutwit. She's a Métis woman. Um, she inspired me because that's where I first heard of honor runs.
Mm-hmm,
She did an honor run for 365 days straight. She ran a mile each day, and it was
mm-hmm,
to honor a different person, living or not, each day. And the purpose of it was to honor the people that went the distance, to go the distance for the people that went the distance for us. And I felt
mm-hmm,
I needed to do that um, in light of all the things that are happening on our reserve. Um,
mm-hmm,
every reserve struggling with the traumas of the Indian residential schools, of colonialism, the Indian Act.
mm-hmm,
Um, so I felt I needed to do that because I felt our community was hurting. Um, and our ancestors had fought for us long ago, Gayasi Suma. They they fought for us and our rights, and they brought the treaties to us, the Treaty 6. They worked hard to get those rights for us, to make sure that us, our generation, and the ones that are to come are looked after. So I
mm-hmm,
wanted to honor our ancestors because they went the distance for us.
mm-hmm,
And I wanted to go the distance for them, to honor them, so that, and to pray for our community so that we can honor them as well. And I wanted to pray for our waters as well because I feel our land is hurting too. So I wanted to pray for that as well. And I wanted to honor the waters in our land for all that they've given to us. So that was the purpose of the honor run, or walk,
mm-hmm,
honor run walk,
mm-hmm,
because I did both that
mm-hmm.
morning. Yeah.
So, so how did you get started? Like, where was we understand your inspiration to do this. So, what was the first thing? Was it did it take a long time to plan, or tell us that process?
With me, a lot of the time, I'm very impulsive. It's not always a good thing, but I just learning to listen to my intuition, to my gut, what it tells me to do, because too long I haven't been listening to myself.
Mm-hmm,
I've been held back by fear of being ridiculed, fear of being looked down on.
mm-hmm,
So I'm reclaiming myself as well. So I needed to listen to myself. Um, my mom always told me, like in regards to like Sundance, she always tell me, if you ever say if you want a Sundance, you have to do it.
mm-hmm,
You can't just speak the words and not do nothing. You have to do it. So that's what I wanted to do. I I felt it in my heart. I needed to do it. And so I just did it. And I
mm-hmm,
wanted to put it up the reserve. Maybe there's somebody else who's feeling the same way and wants to do it as well. So I just put a call out to everyone on the reserve if they wanted to join me. I'm. It's always like the option was there for them.
Right. So, how long did it take you? I'm gonna put a time on here because in your Facebook post when you announced it, you put the time 4:41 a.m. Why 4:41 a.m.?
Because that's when the sun rose. That's when the time the sun was rising. And you know, again, another one of our teachings is that when the sun rises, that's when our prayers are heard the most.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why I picked that time,
Mm-hmm.
is because I wanted to run with the sun while it was rising. And I also
You
love the, pardon?
what? Oh, go ahead, keep going.
I also love the Navajo tradition. I also
Mm-hmm.
admire that because they run at sunrise as well. And again, the prayers to the ancestors. You feel closer to the ancestors at that time. So that's another reason why
Mm-hmm.
I felt I needed to do it then.
Wonderful. You speak so highly of your mother and how she taught you integrity, which is a very, very beautiful gift that she gave you growing up. Can you tell us, give us some shout out to your parents?
Yes, I love my parents so much. They did their best in raising us, and they instilled in us to work hard and that family is important. So, and to honor our family.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
So you have a quote that you post often, and it really sings to my spirit. Our ancestors are with us. We are the seeds. How does how
Mm.
where did that spring up from?
Well, it's from one of those quotes that I always see on Facebook, and
Hmm.
that we are the seeds. They tried to bury us, but we are the seeds. They didn't know we were the seeds. So, and that just
Hmm.
that that stuck with me too, because our ancestors are always behind us. I always think of my Japans. They're there behind me, and the strong woman. They worked hard for us, and so
Hmm.
I just feel behind me, supporting me all the time. Um, and that's why I always say that our ancestors are with us. I always feel them
Hmm.
with me, and that I'm the seed that they planted. That we all are the seeds that our ancestors passed on, and that we need to step up and honor them, what
Hmm.
they have given us.
So what
That
were the types of
we're not.
thoughts? What were the types of thoughts that were going through your mind as you were going through the trails and the paths, and you're probably making your own paths? What were you thinking about during those times?
Uh, I was praying along to our ancestors, to the
Hmm.
guardians, the creator, just to give me strength to keep going, and thinking about our community, praying for them to give us them strength to get through the hurt that's going on. Um, to let go of the anger and the bitterness that's grown. So I just wanted to pray for us so that we can overcome this, and that we could begin to talk to one another with kind hearts and open minds. I thought of that a lot. And just thinking about the run itself, it was really hard because I trained here in the city. Pavement and the dirt trails were compact and smooth. So then running on the reserve, there's really soft sand in the washboards, and then the big rocks, the pebbles. It was it was tough. It took a lot out of my body. I wasn't prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so many times during that run, I wanted to give up because my body was starting to hurt, my
Mm-hmm.
knees and my abs. Um, but I had to keep going. I had to keep going because I had made that commitment and I needed to see it to the end.
Mm-hmm. So
For our community.
in the future, what do you hope to see as a result from your starting the first run?
It would be really nice to see this done more often. Other people starting it. Um, Running is a healing. It's a healing modality where
Mm-hmm.
it's good for the heart. It's good for the spirit to run. Our ancestors were runners. Um, so it's really freeing. I feel it's really freeing to run, and it's like you're running like a with the horses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's those two little Shetland ponies too by Carrie Sasakamooses too. They were with me and getting excited.
So were the horses like jumping and running towards you or anything?
They come running towards me right away because they were in the far end. They come running towards me and they were
Uh-huh.
getting excited. And they were um, Ron John and my oldest son Gabriel were following me behind,
Mm-hmm.
watching me make. And they said the little Shetland ponies were trying to act like stallions.
That's so cute. Yeah, the animals definitely, like the horses definitely know or they feel that energy, and they were acknowledging you and they were being of contribution to keep going and to not give up. So
Yeah.
at the end of the race, we're not even talking about the race. At the end of the run, the honor run. How okay, before we get there, I want to know how long it took you because I used to bike around the lake and in my young mind, I thought it took all day. How long did
Yeah.
it take you to run around the lake?
Just under 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 17 and a half kilometers.
Mm-hmm. There's some res cars
Yeah.
that can barely make 3 hours. So I'm curious, did you have like a kilometer reader or like how far was that run?
It was 17.5 kilometers.
Oh, wow. Keep in mind, viewers and listeners, that the terrain around Ahtahkakoop is like Cindy had mentioned. If you are on a road, then it's washboards, it's sand, it's through the trees, and that that is a pretty tumultuous run when you think about it. So, Cindy, as we're closing the show, do you have any words of inspiration for others who want to follow suit? Other women that want to start a run in their own community? And does it have to be around a lake for them? Because not all communities have, or not all reserves have a lake.
It doesn't have to be. It can be anywhere. where they feel. They could even be a mile a day, a, anything, whatever they feel comfortable with. Just that one step out your door, that commitment is enough. You don't even have to run the whole time. You can walk just to get out and challenge yourself and honor the people that you feel you need to honor, or the community. Yeah.
So it could be a mile a day. You can just start running. And I would like to participate in the next run that you have, Cindy. I'm not sure what capacity or if I could make 17K, but you've
Oh, I did run
inspired
the
me
whole
to
thing.
run. You've inspired me. I'm inspired. It's something that I've wanted for a long time to see, and you indeed are a seed. You would indeed are a seed. Now, for funsies, if you were a seed, what kind of seed would you be?
Let's see. A daisy.
All right, Cindy, do you have any shout outs to give to your family who's supported you?
Oh, okay. I really want to shout out to the men in my life, because I feel men, like you said on your introduction, you you mentioned men. You wanted to make a tribute to the men. Um,
Mhm.
I feel our men are our backbone and our supporters, and they're our protectors in everyday life, and that we need to honor them as well. Um, when I woke up at 4 o'clock that morning to get ready, my dad was already up. He had the coffee brewed, and he had the smudge ready for me. And he came with me to the north end, and he drove behind me for the first 6 kilometers until we got to back to their house, where I had to take a pit stop.
Mhm.
And then after that, my oldest son and my husband, they followed me behind me the rest of the way in the vehicle. So our men are protectors, and we need to work together in this land, in this world, on Turtle Island. We need to all work together. We need to unite and to honor each other, um, like our ancestors had did, just to keep that going. We need to keep taking up space as Nihil women, Nihil is we need to keep taking up space, keep running, keep showing our face, keep wearing the ribbon skirts, whatever. Do what you're doing is Sequin. I admire you so much for doing this, and you're honoring people every day on your podcasts. I really commend you for that too. We need to keep honoring each other, because that's what will give us strength. So thank you.
Hi, hi. Naskumon. Spring Spirit Podcast inspired today, inspired by Cindy Tootoosis to just get out there and run, to dedicate your life to something positive and kindness, kindness. And thank you, Cindy, for being with us here today.
Peace. For sure. Have a good night.
Good night.